True, but none of them have secret identities, and he doesn't even know most of them. You know what I'm saying? He's had like one interaction with them. I don't know, man.
Honestly, I don't care for that secret identity thing. Like it works. It kind of works for Batman, but every other hero,
No,
I don't fuck with
it
it. I
works
don't.
for Spider-Man too. It works with Spider-Man because Spider-Man. The whole thing with Spider-Man is that Tony Stark has security guards. Bruce Wayne has years of training in just about every martial art. Peter Parker has his powers, but his family doesn't. They could all be subject to being killed by however many mob bosses that he's put in prison.
No,
However many.
I found my daddy with panther claws in his chest. You ain't the son of a king, you a son of a murderer.
Hey, Auntie.
Why so serious?
And we come here not as conquerors, but as liberators to return control of this city to the people.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, buddy.
hello everybody. This is Off the Top. I'm your host Bushido Spirit, and I have here Mo.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
All right, and we're getting ready to record the Spider-Man reaction to the trailer. This is the official trailer. The first thing we saw was a teaser. Let's jump right into it here. So we're gonna watch the trailer first, let it play all the way out.
Yeah. Hold on, one second. Before we start this out, we gotta realize that like this is the next film coming out after Endgame. So there's a lot riding on this film. So let's get this going.
Yeah, this will end this current phase.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna watch it all the way through the first time without any commentary. Then we're gonna play it back. Of course, we're gonna lower the volume and do some commentary over it.
The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is about to play, but if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, stop watching because there's some serious spoilers about to come up. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too.
I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
What? I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work because I am going on vacation.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
What up, dorks?
What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo.
Oh, I think MJ really likes me.
That reminds me when I first fell in love.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world?
Beck is from Earth, just not ours. The snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
There's gotta be someone else you can use. What about Thor?
Off-world.
Captain Marvel?
Unavailable.
But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter?
I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right, you may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
Oh my God.
I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger.
The world needs the next Iron Man.
You going to step up or not?
Out of here! Get on the jet! Who are you? I work with Spider-Man.
You work for Spider-Man?
I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan.
The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is
I think it
about
looks
to play,
amazing,
but if you
first
haven't
of all,
seen
and I
Avengers
think another
Endgame
thing I
yet,
really
stop
appreciate about
watching, because
is
there's
that
some serious
it's
spoilers
it's
about to
clearly
come
it's
up.
clearly a completely
But if you
different
have
movie
seen
after
Avengers
having
Endgame,
seen Endgame because the
enjoy
first
the
trailer
trailer.
was cut to not include any of this who's gonna be the next Iron Man plotline or who's gonna fill up the mantle, not necessarily the mantle, but the position in the superhero community.
Yeah.
And I think first of all, clever marketing, and the second thing is that this movie's infinitely more important considering what it has to carry, you know.
Yeah. I like how that suit looked though. That shit is nice. Jesus.
I mean, he has like 6 of them in this movie. Apparently, he has this one. He has the black suit at the end. It looks like Spider-Man Noir. He has the black and red one that looks more like Miles. You know, his costume. And we've seen designs for other costumes too. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of costumes in this movie.
Yeah, they all look good.
Yeah. I mean, people hated this design in the beginning because it wasn't. It's the Iron Spider costume, but it's not the Iron Spider costume from the comics, and they thought it looked kind of ugly. The Iron Spider from the comics has the exact same color palette as Iron Man's suit. It's red and gold. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this looks exciting, man. Like, first of all, like I think it goes without saying, this is by far not an original take, but Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel character in general. Period. You know what I'm saying? He's my favorite. So even without like the weight of ending the phase on this movie, I was excited because I get to see more of this character I like. Homecoming is my favorite live-action Spider-Man. You know, I would say thanks to Into the Spider.
I mean, what about people that say Tobey Maguire is a better Spider-Man?
Those people are probably 40 years old and they're not part of this conversation.
A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people don't like it.
They're wrong.
Well, not a lot. A handful of people.
I mean, enough people. Like, here's the reason I don't respect them, Bush. After Into the Spider-Verse came out, they were like, and Toby's still better. And I'm like, you niggas are broken. You people are broken. You see what I'm saying? Like, you like, forget about Tom Holland being better than Tobey Maguire. If these people see this perfect animated movie by Phil Lord and everybody else involved in that film, and still somehow find it in their spirit to be like, those movies from 2002 are the best Spider-Man movies ever made. Like, those are not the people I want to be talking Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they actually went back and saw them film. Them films trash.
I did. I do that. Look, see, here's the wildest part with Spider-Man fans. I don't know, like, Spider-Man, I feel like is synonymous with nostalgia for a lot of people. What happens is that even in our youngest years, we love Spider-Man to death. But what happens is that we never really go back to that media and see how well it holds up. I went back to that Spider-Man animated series in the 90s.
That shit trash.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, and I went back to the first Spider-Man movie. I watched the first Spider-Man. That CGI looked like butt cheeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks a little goofy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie was goofy.
Kind of whack. And listen, I had those VHSs for the first. I mean, I had the VHS for the first one. I had the DVD for the second one. With the VHS for the first one, I played that shit borderline every single day. You see what I'm saying? That was one of my favorite movies ever. But just because I have this attached to such a sentimental point in my life doesn't mean that, like, I can't acknowledge something else is better, you know? I still get that same kick of nostalgia when I see Tobey Maguire at the top of that building and he's like, go, Web, go, fly, up and away, Web. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's classic in my head. Like, Spider-Man from my youth is the same as maybe, like, the first Superman movie for a ton of other people. You know what I mean? But it does not hold up as well as people think it does. And I believe Homecoming is the best live-action Spider-Man movie, as far as we know, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. And I think I do enjoy this interpretation of Spider-Man. Like, I don't like... Yeah. I'm not a fan of OP characters. Like, a lot of people complain about him not having the spider senses and shit like that. I don't mind a character growing into themselves, developing on the screen. I don't want a character just to appear strong off jump. Like, I don't like that. Yeah. And I don't care about the Uncle Ben story. Like, a lot of people don't like that they didn't show that. I don't care about that story, honestly.
I mean, I care about that. I'll care about that for a couple of reasons, but for the most part, I'm not over here gonna cry about whether they do or not. You know what I'm saying? I think the biggest thing that I can credit to the Tobey Maguire movies now is because is that Homecoming doesn't have to repeat a ton of stuff because people already saw those movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have to go through the origin again because people already know the origin. We don't have to go through the Uncle Ben died and he said with great power that was so. You know, like we don't have to go for it because we've seen it twice. You know what I mean? Seeing a third time is not going to hammer the point home. And I think this movie is afforded a certain privilege by not having to do that all over again. And also, it seems like all those other Spider-Man movies ruined every other villain we could possibly use. So it also forces the MCU to pick pretty obscure villains.
I like Vulture. Yeah, Vulture is a pretty good villain. He has a purpose.
I mean, now he is. Now he wasn't.
Yeah, now he
kind of lame.
Kind of trash.
Comics, he was kind of lame. And then what happened is now they casted literally the best person they could. Michael Keaton is an amazing actor.
Yeah.
And then what happened was he played the shit out of that role. He was one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains, man. That scene inside the car where he puts that gun on the side of the seat and he's pointing at this little kid. That's masterful. That's like great filmmaking, man. That's
I love
really
it.
Good filmmaking.
Yeah, I love that movie, man. Like, I don't know why I don't know why people still believe that Tobey Maguire. What's the other dude?
Don't even bring that up. Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
Look, I rewatched Amazing Spider-Man 2. That might be not just the one. Like, that's not just the worst Spider-Man movie made. I'm saying that's worse than Spider-Man 3. I'm not just going as far as that. That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. That movie is terrible.
Damn.
That movie is bad. Really, 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 really bad.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised people don't look at that movie the same way they look at like those terrible Schumacher like Batman movies. You know how people keep making fun of Batman and Robin? They should be making fun of Amazing Spider-Man too. Yeah. Let's unfold a lot of the stuff that's in this trailer that we didn't know about previously. They seem to be introducing this idea of Quentin Beck, Mysterio, is from the multiverse and he's from another plane of reality and he's tied to all of this stuff from Endgame. And I kind of want to call bullshit on that for the same reason a lot of other people might. Quentin Beck from the comics is a liar and a fraud. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you were like a super duper, what's it called, ignorant to like all the comic book stuff, you would not know that this guy was even a villain based on the trailers. You see what I'm saying? He seems like a fairly good dude. He's being a hero.
Yeah, like a mentor kind of, like replacing Iron Man for Spider-Man. So
yeah, it seems like in a strange way, Nick Fury is the closest thing he has to a mentor in terms of like legitimate people that have like good intentions. It seems like he's gonna take Mysterio to be his mentor in this movie, and it's gonna come and bite him in the butt because it's like he's in a sensitive place. You see what I'm saying? He's just lost his mentor slash like father figure type person in the superhero community, and it's kind of it's interesting to see where he ends up right now. I think this movie is gonna be as heartfelt as a Spider-Man movie should be, and it seems like there's gonna be real life consequences because of it. You know.
Yeah, what about people are saying, like, there's a plot line, people are thinking that this is going to be the case here, that, like you mentioned, that, you know, Mysterio is just pretending to be from a different universe. He's actually from their universe.
Yeah.
But he's using all these different, he's bringing out all these different creatures to make himself seem like the hero.
Well, the way I kind of come from it is that I do think the multiverse does exist. Maybe not in this current state, but I feel like they will introduce the multiverse as a concept at some point. But I think for the most part, it's just kind of clever marketing because, like, what happened was the last Spider-Man movie you got? We got Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yeah.
And the idea was, oh, look, there's multiverses. There's a universe for every other Spider-Man. It's kind of pulling in that Sony crowd that might not necessarily be interested in the MCU stuff, which I think is kind of like a non-existent group, but sure. And then what ends up happening is that they also go ahead and have this 5-year time skip in universe, which could also age up the Miles Morales character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and, they can do a lot with it. Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in all of that. I think as far as the Quentin Beck stuff goes, I think we have the story pretty much mapped out in our head. He's trying to be a hero. He's kind of convinced these people that he's from another universe, and even if he is, that's something he's lying about, you know, because that's just Quentin Beck's character. He is a liar and a fraud, you know. And he's an actor, you know what I'm saying? He's really good at performing, and to believe that he kind of tricked Shield is not too far-fetched in my opinion, because like, I mean, Hydra's been doing it for years, right? So
okay, what do you feel about MJ knowing that he is Spider-Man?
I think that's bullshit. I think it's clever cutting in a trailer. I think that's her style of humor, you know, where she says like stuff like, "Oh yeah, of course," and this happened and that happened, and then she laughs in his face. They cut out the part where she laughs. I think she doesn't know. I think it's like
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's why would they put that in the trailer? That doesn't make any sense.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if they cut it. Because she
and
says
the rest of the scene.
She says it's pretty obvious, and like,
yeah, that's sarcasm. She's been sarcastic throughout the entire first movie. That's sarcasm. She's being sarcastic.
I don't know, and is it like Spider-Man just happened to be everywhere that they go? Like, I mean, I think she might know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
I think she's being completely sarcastic. I mean, I'm willing to do it, man. Like I'm not like I feel like based on what I know from this character and her sense of humor and the way she carries herself, she's almost sarcastic in every single sentence she says. So for her to be so matter of fact about the fact that he's Spider-Man, just doesn't seem right. It seems like she's another sort of misdirect, in this
Okay,
movie
I
full
mean,
of
but
misdirection.
we know that Tom Holland Spider-Man is kind of a fuck up, and that him
Oh,
stumbling
dude,
may reveal that he's actually Spider-Man to her. So
I don't even
in
think
that
it's
moment,
that. It's like
so
he just shows everybody his face, man. Why does everybody see his face? Like think about it. Let's go for a list. If you go in Endgame, there's a scene where he takes off his mask just to hug Tony, and I get it would be weird if he had his Spider-Man mask the entire time while he's hugging him. But like, think about it, man. In a battlefield that I doubt is televised, but in a hugely public area, he's just like, hey, this is my face, guys. I'm the one person in this entire universe that needs a secret identity because they'll kill my family. But hey, I'm gonna show you guys my face.
I mean, Thanos doesn't give a fuck, and all those people were snapped, and the rest of the people that were on the battlefield were like superheroes, so it don't really matter.
But true, but none of them have secret identities, and he doesn't even know most of them. You know what I'm saying? He's had like one interaction with them. I don't know, man.
Honestly, I don't care for that secret identity thing. Like it kind of works for Batman, but every other hero, I don't fuck with.
It works for Spider-Man too. It works with Spider-Man because Spider-Man, the whole thing with Spider-Man is that Tony Stark has security guards. Bruce Wayne has years of training in just about every martial art. Peter Parker has his powers, but his family doesn't. They could all be subject to being killed by however many mob bosses that he's put in prison, however many filthy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Spider-Man's whole thing is...
I'm not saying everybody should know, but like I don't like those lazy ass storylines where the hero has to hide it from the person that he loves and the people that he's close to. I hate that. I feel like those storylines are a waste of time. I rather the people that's into his life know about it, and then we can move on.
Well,
I don't want to waste time on that shit.
There's a couple things. First thing is, it doesn't really matter what I say at this point because the movie agrees with you. He already revealed his identity to Aunt May by the end of the first movie, and his best friend knows. So, like, to a degree, I agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like it makes things a ton easier that his secret identity is known. But I'm gonna repeat this. I feel like as far as Spider-Man and his secret identity goes, it makes perfect sense because he's a poor kid that lives in a poor area. He's a guy that is easily accessible if anyone knew his secret identity. So to him, it's of more value than it is to the king of Wakanda that is his own security guard. To the guy, what's the cool? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily even about, oh, they'll kill me. It's about I have my aunt that has no powers and potentially doesn't know anything that could get herself killed if people find out that I'm Spider-Man, you know?
I mean, but I'm not talking about everybody in the world. I'm just talking about the people that's close to him that know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was also just talking about people that could cause harm, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, of course, they should know, but like people that's in his life, they should definitely like, so you don't have to sneak out and like you get those terrible storylines where Aunt May is cooking dinner and shit. It's like, where is Peter? And the niggas going out the window and like, no, that's stupid. Fuck that shit. Hey, Aunt May, I'm going to go save the world. Peace out. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't want. I'm tired of niggas hiding.
Well, I mean,
like,
there's a couple. That's a waste of time. First, there's like that's another discussion because it's like, hey, I know I'm 15 and can't make all of my decisions, and you're supposed to be my guardian and keep me safe, but I'm gonna go and fight with these superheroes that die every Tuesday. That's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's a superhero. Like, I mean,
what does that mean to his aunt? He's just Peter. Like,
I mean, yeah, she still cares. Sure, that's still there.
Hold up.
But come on,
hold up, Bush.
Come on.
Say you have a kid, right? Say you have a kid, and you found out his secret identity is the giant beetle, and then you're like, hold up, you're still my son, though. And
the
you're
giant
like,
beater. What would you say? The giant what?
I'm making up a secret identity. Okay. Say your son. Say someone you've raised this entire life. Not knowing that there's superhero stuff. Yeah, the meat beater. Like he's the astonishing meat beater. That's your kid's hero name. This kid has been your kid your entire life. You see what I'm saying? Or his entire life.
Yeah.
So the idea is the moment you find out he's a superhero, you're like, oh yeah, okay, go get yourself killed. You're a superhero. That's not how life works. You know what I mean? That's bring any sort of realism to anything. You know, it's supposed to be like that.
Nobody is saying go out there and get yourself killed. Like that's stupid. Nobody's saying that.
That's what being a hero is. Being a hero is risking your life every single time you go outside.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but again, he has other heroes that are with him that he'll be safer around than his fucking Aunt May. So
against Thanos, not against Mysterio, not against the Vulture, not against most of these villains that he's going to be facing on the street level thing. Because like that's what makes Spider-Man so special. He fights against the street level villains that other heroes don't have the time for. You know?
Yeah, but what does this have to do with like hiding the identity and shit like that? I mean, you don't want the person to care, but I think it's a better storyline to have like. Even in those first films with Tobey Maguire, like the storyline was that Mary Jane was tired of him being Spider-Man because he was putting his life on the line all the time. I feel like that's a better storyline than him hiding and sneaking in alleys from the people that are in his life. So
you can have both. You can have both because there was one story in the comics.
You can't. Not if his identity is hidden.
Well, no, that's not the point I'm making. I'm saying you spend a movie. Look, first of all, I want to make it clear. I'm not objecting to anything these movies are doing. This is not an objection to the movies. It's just a conversation. So, say for one film, you have the secret identity be secret. You get that story you said you hate, but then after that, what happens is that we also get the story of now you know my secret identity and we move forward with this way. I'm saying you don't have to immediately get rid of that story and kill it just because you don't like it. I'm saying you can have both. It's not a matter of choosing. You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as it becomes too self-indulgent, you can be done with it. Also, another thing that I think is pretty interesting is that it does present a really interesting opportunity because there's a conversation that comes out of that. It's like this interaction with a person that has been lied to their entire time. You know what I'm saying? Like this entire time, and the person that's been lying to them and keeping the secret have to come face to face and talk about it. You know what I mean? That's an interesting.
I mean, the story. They always do that shit wrong though. They have the person that's lied to. The person that is being lied to always goes over the top with it. Oh my god, you superhero.
Here's my advice.
Like, no,
I think I'm just gonna put this out there. I don't recommend comics to. I don't recommend comics to even half of the people that listen to this. But I'm gonna say if any of you have time, read a Spider-Man issue called The Conversation. The idea is it's the issue that takes place after Aunt May coming into Peter's house one day and seeing that he's still wearing the Spider-Man suit, bruised and battered, and after a day of fighting crime. And the issue is them sitting down and having a conversation about the 15 years he's been Spider-Man and she hasn't known about it. And it's one of the best issues of comic books I've ever read. It's so good.
It's called A Conversation. This takes place at night. I mean, not at night, but in one day.
Yeah. It's a one issue where they sit down and talk about what's happened. You know what I'm saying? It's been 15 years, 10 years of him being Spider-Man. She just hasn't known, And it's just like all the things you would expect someone that cares about you to say, but it doesn't become melodramatic the way you said it would. She says stuff like, wow, what's it called? You were always so, what's it called, fragile. I thought you were like gay this entire time. And it's like and it's like some stuff like that, and it's like, no, he's just been hamming up the fragility just so she would never suspect that he's Spider-Man. You see what I'm saying? And like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that they talk about where it's like, does Mary Jane know? These people might the last one to find out. And it's a fantastic issue. It's amazing. It's so good.
I mean, look, that'll be good for a scene, but I hate stories
I don't want them to adapt it. I don't want them to adapt it. I'm just saying it's a cool story and a cool interaction.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but usually when they have something like that, that shit lasts a whole movie or a whole fucking 8 episodes.
We'll blame film and TV for not having enough stories to tell. Damn it, these guys are not very creative if they're living off one story, man.
But yeah, what do you think about the other characters here? Like, I guess explain more of the 5-year thing where all his friends come back and they're still the same age, but everybody around him is older and have moved on. Like, how do you feel they're gonna do that in this film? Like, talk about it.
I think for the most part we're not gonna see how their school has been reshaping until the end of the movie. I think what's going to happen is that this movie provides an interesting opportunity to bring in a very important character from the comics and have them be in the film. And what I mean by that is they would have been 5 years younger before the snap, and since they didn't get snapped away, they aged 5 years and they would be the same age as Peter now. So I think what could happen is that could be their way of bringing in Norman Osborn and then having his son go to the school, Harry Osborn. Or it could also be their way that they bring in Gwen Stacy. It could be any comic book character that they feel like they want to be the same age as Peter and have them grow up into the next movie and have them graduate the same. And I think that's a really interesting way of doing it. This movie is strategically placed as like a vacation story. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
vacation story where you can spend a large amount of the movie away from anywhere near his school. And you get that end of movie stinger where it's like, oh no, you're here. Okay, that's crazy. You're in the movie. You're
Yeah,
canon.
that makes sense. Yeah, they don't have to go through all the do all that explaining in the beginning when he's back in school and shit. I mean, they do, but they don't have to do it so much because he's gonna be in a different location.
Yeah. Also, I feel like in its own way, what the movie's gonna do is it's gonna be a first person perspective of how the world as a whole has been affected by the snap. Because we only really saw America, you know, when Ant-Man woke up at the beginning of Endgame.
Ah, you're right.
And I think what's gonna happen is not only are we gonna see people coming back after the snap, we're also gonna see the world in memoriam of Iron Man's death. It's gonna be the mourning process, and I think that's kind of what this trip is for Peter. It's him mourning the death of his mentor, and then immediately being offered an opportunity to fill that void that's been left in the world. You know.
How do you feel about him becoming the leader? Do you think they will actually take that approach and try to make him the next leader of the MCU? I mean, he is one of their better characters. Like, he's probably the best character they have, honestly.
I think so. I think he could definitely fill out that role. He might be a little bit young, but I feel like he can grow into it. That's one thing. I think another thing to keep in mind is that I feel like this whole being the next Iron Man story is going to end in a similar fashion to the first. Because the idea in the first movie was all that Peter wanted was to be an Avenger. He wanted to be this big premier superhero that everybody wished they could be. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be the Pepsi, the Coca-Cola of superheroes. But like, what he realizes is that sometimes people gotta be the Arizona. You know what I mean? I gotta be the Arizona cat. That's Spider-Man's the Arizona. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what the end of the movie is. And I feel like this movie's gonna be, you gotta be the next Iron Man. You gotta be the next Iron Man. And then the end of the movie is like, no, the world already had an Iron Man. You've got to be the Spider-Man. You've got to be the guy that can help the little guy that Iron Man could never get to because he was too busy. You know?
Okay. All right. One last question. I had to burp a little bit. One last question. So they did that thing. They did the same thing they did in Endgame, where they were like, you know, Thor isn't here, Captain Marvel isn't here, which sort of adds to the confusion about the character Captain Marvel. Hopefully in her next film, they actually flesh the character out a little bit more, because
hopefully it'll be more cosmic and we'll have less time on Earth, because that was a little damaging for the movie in my opinion. I think we should have had more cosmic stuff.
Yeah. Earth is boring as fuck. Like, I hate fish out of water story. That's why I didn't like Thor. Yeah, I didn't like Thor either. That shit boring. Earth shit boring.
Yeah. I mean, this movie was, Captain Marvel was bad than 4, but let's keep it stepping.
Yeah, it was. I'm just saying I don't like fish out of water shit.
I get that.
But
the other one was fish out of water, but that shit was fire.
I mean, that was a period piece though. Like, it was something that was not familiar.
That is true. That's a good point. It was a world where we weren't really familiar with it either. You know?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So that works. The same with First Avenger, Captain America. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Any final thoughts on this?
I'm looking forward to it, man. Spider-Man is going to be the beginning of this new era or the end of the old one. And to be honest with you, what better character to end this phase? And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it, man. I think it's an exciting moment for Marvel fans, and it's a chance to choose. Do you want to continue off the end game, or are you going to take that as your conclusion to the universe? I want to hear that in the comment section, man. I want to hear what people think. Do you want to end the MCU, at least internally? Do you want to stop watching the Marvel movies after Endgame, or do you think you're ready to watch Spider-Man?
Look, I'm going to say this. I feel like niggas are sleeping on this next phase. I feel like people are automatically assuming it's going to be worse because nothing can top what they did last time. But I'm betting on this is going to be way better. They've got the experience in. They won't make the same mistakes they made the first time around. They have seasoned directors that have been with these movies from the beginning. I feel like this next phase is going to be fire. And niggas is sleeping hard. They don't know what the fuck they talking about when they say it's going to be bad.
I think those people are talking from a weird perspective. But yeah. Take care, everyone. I'm done.
Peace out.
Man, these niggas some fools, man. Hey, as always, thank y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. Let YouTube know we alive and shit. I mean, if you fuck with us, fuck with us. Ain't too much we gotta say on that point. Follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram. We only be posting on that bitch, but we got it. If y'all got us, that's love, bro. That's love. See y'all next time.
Off the top.